B-Marsh Boxing, what's happening, boxing heads and fight fans around the world? Back at it with another boxing video. So WBA 168-pound champion and also Ring Magazine champion Callum Smith from the United Kingdom says he received a 50-50 offer to fight WBO 160-pound champ Billy Joe Saunders in a pay-per-view fight that would be for unification, and this fight would take place on BT Sports. As you already know, Callum Smith is a guy who's under Matchroom, and he usually fights on Sky Sports and on the States, The Zone. While Billy Joe Saunders, being a Frank Warren Queensberry Promotions guy, he fights on BT Sport and in the States, ESPN. So this is a unification fight. Now, the powers that be, in my opinion, the A side should be Callum Smith. We'll see if his promoter, Eddie Hearn, blocks a fight. Callum Smith is 26 and 0 and 19 KOs, and he's interested a lot in facing the man Billy Joe Saunders, who's 28 and 0 and 13 KOs. This would be a big fight in the UK, big domestic fight. You know what I mean? In a division that the British fighters have been predominantly, I don't want to say dominant, but I can say in the history of the 168-pound division, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that the United Kingdom has probably produced more world champions at 168 than any other division or than any other nation in 168-pound history. You know, I could name guys like Richie Woodhall, Robin Reed, Joe Calzaghe, Carl Froch, George Groves. Um, who else? Um, Pretty sure I'm forgetting somebody. But the 168-pound division, Nigel Benn, of course, and Chris Eubank. How could I forget Steve Collins? You know what I'm saying? These are guys who've held the 168-pound division ever since its inauguration. It seems like that's one of the British fighters' best divisions to get world titles. You know what I mean? You check it. So this would be a big matchup. Look at James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Senior, Junior. You know what I mean? James DeGale was another 168-pound champion. You check it, but Callum Smith, he had just come out of that World Boxing Super Series. He won the whole thing by beating up George Groves, knocking him out. You know what I'm saying? And he's also been in the running for Canelo. Canelo's been talking about fighting either what's this guy's name, Canelo or Callum Smith. You know what I mean? But it looks like the man Canelo's leaning in the direction of fighting at light heavyweight versus Sergey Kovalev. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if the man Eddie Hearn will be on board to have his fighter go fight on BT Sports and ESPN in the States. As a promoter, he should. His fighter wants to unify. BT Sports and Billy Joe Saunders have sent in an offer of a 50-50 deal. Why not go get that WBO belt if Callum Smith is the best super middleweight on the planet? Go get that WBO belt, hold two belts. Now you have leverage over everybody, every other champion from guys like Andre the Dog Durrell, who's about to get his ass beat by the man David Benavidez. Believe that. You can count on that. Or the other guy from the States, from Tennessee, what's his name? Caleb Plant, you know what I mean? If the man Callum Smith is given permission by Eddie Hearn to go and fight for unification, the bargaining chips will be all on the table, and you'll have to come through Callum Smith, whether it's in the UK or whatever. He'll be the A side, you know what I mean? Callum Smith is a tall dude, or how the British fellas would say, he's a tall lad. You know what I'm saying? 6'3", and Billy Joe Saunders about 5'11", and that man would definitely have a significant reach advantage. Callum Smith over Billy Joe Sanders and the power. You know what I mean? He's a bigger puncher than the man Billy Joe. You know what I'm saying? But Billy Joe Saunders is a very good fighter as far as he's a slick fighter, southpaw, difficult to hit. It's a guy who's very hard to hit with clean shots. You know what I mean? Got good defense, good counter puncher, a man who can move well. It's a very good boxer. But now he got to put those boxing skills against world class fighters. That's the only way to judge. You know what I mean? Because really and truly, the best man on his resume is guys like Andy Lee or Chris Eubank Jr. You know what I'm saying? But I believe he can give the man problems. You know what I'm saying? I believe he can give Callum Smith problems. He just can't get caught. But he got to put himself in position to, bob and weave, slip punches and, just use his footwork. You know what I'm saying? And this particular fight, whoever wins this fight, I can guarantee you they'll be unified, and I bet you that's when Canelo will be interested in him. You know what I mean? 'As of right now, I'm sure Canelo ain't interested in Billy Joe Saunders. That's a difficult fight. He ain't trying to deal with that footwork and that slick movement. You know what I mean? But if he does beat Callum Smith, then the Canelo fight's probably gonna be on the table for both guys. You know what I mean? You check it for both guys, but more than likely, I would see Canelo trying to fight Billy Joe Saunders just because of the proximity and guys' height and reach. And Billy Joe Saunders is a tweener, can fight at super middleweight and or middleweight. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, this all depends on Eddie Hearn if he'll let his dog out the kennel and let him roam and try to go get himself some food. You know what I'm saying? Go hunt out there and go get himself a world title in a unification. You know what I'm saying? Um, Callum Smith should be the favorite just off the strength that he's a bigger man, bigger puncher, is a real super middleweight. You know what I mean? You check it, you see what he did to George Groves. He retired the man George Groves. Sure enough, George Groves was coming off a shoulder injury and a long layoff. You know what I'm saying? Before he got in the ring with Callum Smith. But I definitely think that this would be a great fight. I'll be looking forward to it if it so do happen. Just want to see Billy Joe Saunders in big fights. I like his skill set, but when you fighting guys like David Lemieux and schooling them and Willie Monroe Jr., those are not necessarily world class boxers. I want to see him do it against the best. You know what I mean? Fix all the boxing in the chat was good, man. He says, "Be Marsh with the plug. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, big dogs." Finks out the boxer says a little off topic, but WBO would have to strip Kova if he don't fight his man though. But I think they'll bend the rules for Canoli. I definitely agree with that. The WBO ain't gonna strip that man for fighting Canoli. You mad? All it means is if Canoli beats that man Sergey Kovalev for his WBO belt, the WBO would be excited to have Canelo on board as their champion. You know what I mean? They'd make that fight quick, fast, and in a hurry if they can. You know what I'm saying? Just so off the strength that Canelo has been a WBO, short-lived WBO champion at 154 when he beat guys like Liam Smith. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the WBO I don't think would block that fight. Canoli versus Sergey. I don't think they would. You know what I'm saying? And I hope Eddie Hearn doesn't block this unification fight that Billy Joe Saunders and them have offered Callum Smith. You know what I'm saying? Really and truly, Callum Smith is not a hot commodity. Might be the best super middleweight on the planet, but he's not no guy people are clamoring to come out and watch. And I'm not saying Billy Joe Saunders either is a guy who's a guy people are going crazy over and want to go attend his fights and mad pay viewership. But at the end of the day, both these guys need each other, especially in England, to have a significant super middleweight rivalry. George Groves, Carl Froch style. Nigel Benn, Chris Eubanks Senior style, or Steve Collins versus Nigel Benn and or Eubanks Senior. You know what I mean? Calzaghe, Robin Reed. They haven't had those type of fights in the UK. They tried to make it with DeGale and Eubank Jr., but no world title was on the line, and DeGale got his ass beat. So that wasn't no significant classic super middleweight fight in the UK. But I do believe these two guys could make it happen, and I hope they do. I'd love to see a big domestic rivalry unification in the United Kingdom, London. Make it happen, Eddie Hearn. Be March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments. Shout outs to Finks Art of Boxing. And let me know who you guys favor in this particular fight. I think I'm going to have to favor Callum Smith. And let me know who you guys think, whether you think this particular fight will happen at all, period. All right? Be March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm out of here. If you're new to the channel, please share and subscribe and like the video if you like the content. Peace.